Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tap In with Tristan. Got another FitLab 15 segment. I'm honored to be joined by one of my first FitLab athletes, Mr. Hunter Simmons. Go ahead, talk to him, boss.
What's up, guys?
Yes, yes. Hunter is a phenomenal baseball player. So he's going to tell us a little bit about his story, man. So first, man, just how's things going? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Just been chilling, playing
Got you,
baseball.
got you, boss, man. So Hunter, where did we grow up at? What high school did we go to? And we'll just start from there.
So I originally lived in on the edge of Mansfield and Grand Prairie. I moved over to Mansfield when I was about in kindergarten. Started out at Jailborn Elementary, Axlow Intermediate, Western Middle School, and then all the way up to Mansfield High School. And yeah, that's really it
That's
on that
really,
one.
and what position do you play, boss man?
I play third base, but
Third
right
base.
now in college I'm playing first.
Third, okay, third and first. So you're at first base right now. Okay. So when did you really start getting into baseball? When did that
Uh,
start being part of your life?
I say about four when I was 4 or 5, as early as you can start, really. And I've been in a household where my parents are athletes, so that's where I first really experienced something that I liked was being on some type of athletic field like soccer, baseball. It didn't really matter. Figuring out what sport was going to be mine, and baseball is where I really thrived. So I mean, that's where I picked. I played other sports, but I mean, baseball's really been my
This
main passion.
will be your main passion. You mentioned your household is sports. So who's in the household with you?
So originally it was my dad and my mom. My dad passed November 5th of my senior year, so literally right after football. And so my dad played football at A&M Commerce, was an All-American coming out of Lamar High School. My mom, she played basketball at Mansfield actually.
Wow.
I
Okay.
used to see her plaques and stuff in the ladies basketball and stuff. She had a record for 1,000 points, I think, or something like that. She had a ball from the school. It was signed and everything. It's up in there. And she played volleyball too. So she played at a junior college originally for basketball, but decided she didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So she ended up going to some D3
Yeah.
and played volleyball. That's what it was.
Any
And
siblings?
how many siblings?
Yeah,
I got two younger brothers, Aiden and Riley, and they actually come to the Fit Lab too. They work out there.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
play baseball.
You opened up the door for a lot. We're gonna touch upon that in a minute. So uh, let's talk a little bit about like AAU select for baseball, man. What does that look like?
So um, it really doesn't start until you're about, I say, really 10, 11, 12. That's when you start to having to start pay money and lots of money actually to play on the
It's
best of the
not cheap.
teams if you want to play on the best team.
It's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap at all. Not at all. Not by a long shot.
Okay.
Paying
So
almost $2,000 if you're trying to play on the top team. You're paying usually $2,000 to play.
this is good
It's a lot of
information.
money.
This is good information for the parents and everything like that. And you was playing like highly competitive leagues, or is this like lower level, mid level? What would you say? Start.
The long story about this is I usually, in my opinion, I sucked. I sucked in the beginning of it. Like when I started getting into high school and stuff, I was better at pitching off the mound than I was hitting. I just could not hit. I don't know what it was. But then sophomore year, I ended up playing for the Arlington A's. My aunt found out something about it and ended up going to try. I really didn't want to because they didn't sound good. But then later I found out they were really good. And I ended up playing really good in my age division. So I was 16, so I was sophomore in high school, and that's when it started taking off. And the coach of the main team, the 17, so when you're traveling and stuff, he brought me up to play with them my sophomore year, and that's when I really started playing with competition like that. Like I'm talking about names that you're hearing getting drafted or either playing some Division 1 ball. That's when
How
I
did
really realized.
that blow your mind? Did you feel overwhelmed, or you felt like, man, I'm able to play with these guys. I belong here.
In my opinion,
Yeah,
I was scared at first. I was nervous. I mean, they're older than me. I mean, I'm not trying to suck in front of some older people, but
exactly.
um, after a couple games, I started to find my rhythm, and I was like, all right, I enjoy playing up. that's what I started to end up doing. So that's
How
that.
important, how important is confidence in your sport?
In baseball, 100%, it might be one of the most important things because baseball is probably the most humbling sport. You could either go one time 4 for 4 with just smashing the ball, and the next 3 games you could never touch a baseball again in the batter's box for those games, and it's humbling. So you got to know that if you're gonna play this game, you need to know you're a dog. Like you got to go play. Like nobody's gonna go out here and just hope you do good. It's like you got to know that you're a dog out there, and that's what carries most of these high MLB like Division I players. Like they know that they got that swag. Like they know they're good.
How does 100% agree with you, and that carries over to a lot of sports, but like you said, baseball. What ties into confidence? How did you have that confidence? Is it preparation? Is it support? Is it just you? A little bit of everything.
Well, I've had a hard like father figure. So my dad, he's always been hard on me. So like I think it comes from that. I honestly like believe that like that tough love has like kind of molded that confidence and like brought it out like to show that, bro, if I can take anything from him, like nobody's gonna tell me anything. Like I'm not worried about anybody on this earth no more. Like that,
That's
my father figure brought that out in me. So I really can't say anything.
that's
Like
when, yes. So have you ever been into a spot to where you ever felt burnt out by the sport? Is it because there has to be a level of sacrifice, am I right, to get to a
yeah.
certain level? Would you feel like, man, this is a little bit too much? Do you feel like he was overextended? Have you seen some of your people overextended in this game?
Um, I wouldn't say. Uh, there was a time. I mean, it's usually when you're younger, like when you're getting into high school and stuff, like you start really actually working out and doing like baseball stuff like that. You're like, man, this is hard. Like you're burnt out and stuff. And most guys, they kind of just quit with it. They're just like, I'm not gonna do this. Like I don't want to do it. But then there's that small group that finds that like that feeling of okay, I'm done. Like I'm burnt out, but it's a good feeling of being burnt out because you know that you did something good to make you better for the next day.
I like
So it's just really it's just based on that person. Like, are you just gonna give up,
yeah.
or do you want it? It's really just up to that.
So you see the separation of guys that even go from level to level is that internal drive and even like the support and everything. Now, growing up and everything, was it just you? You know, you said it started out kind of as a hobby. Did you cross over into doing any type of training? You know, say like positional stuff, hitting and going seeing and doing lessons and strength training and everything like that. When did that kind of start, if ever?
So I mean, I always just would hit when we had practice, but I didn't really start like doing outside stuff like hitting, fielding, and stuff like that till I got into high school. Basically, like freshman year, I went to this guy named Jerry Brown. My dad knew him, and I hit with him in the cages at the old Batter's Cave facility, and that's when I started hitting on by myself. And then
That
that's when I came to FitLab.
Arlington?
Yeah, I
Dedicated
think it's on Cooper.
Cooper Street. Yep, Arlington, Texas. So you started seeing a benefit from that, correct?
Yeah, because you're seeing that repetition of arm slots and all those pitches. It kind of starts to add up and help you understand, like in the game, if that happens, like you're ready for that situation.
Beautiful. Now again, you were one of my first guys, man. How do you feel that FitLab helped shape you as a young athlete?
Hands down, I think that my game and my reaction time, speed and reaction, was definitely hands down the most things I could take away from that place. Like you, like Tristan FitLab was probably one of the best decisions I made freshman sophomore year. It really helped me like being able to move. Like I could really tell that I was moving faster than a lot of kids, and then that's when I started this like really like growing. Like because some people stop, and I kept going to FitLab and I'd work out on my own that I could do stuff because like I didn't really know what to do at the time, but that's why I went to FitLab because you knew what you were talking about and they helped me out, and I'm just now where I'm at today
I
because FitLab.
man. So again, man, this is always love, man. It's great to watch your guys and your ladies, your young athletes that you pour into. It's really cool feeling watching you guys grow up and mature. So this is a cool situation for me. Now let's talk a little bit about the recruitment. Let's talk about the recruitment, man. Let's try to wrap that in a nutshell of what happened from going from high school and where you ended up. Let's tell a little bit about that story.
So originally I started playing for real summer ball my junior year. That's when all the hype is around about getting offers and like playing. But there's some kids that get it before. It just depends on how good of a player you are. And I went into my junior summer. I played really good that junior summer. I think that was hands down one of the best summers I've had going into like college and stuff. And coming to the end of the season, I didn't have any offers. So it was just I had El Paso Community College, and that was the only offer that I really had. But I'd had texts from like New Mexico University, like McLennan, Weatherford, no, not Weatherford, my bad. McLennan, Louisiana Tech, McNeese, whatever they're called, and they just texted me. But Missouri came to a game in New Mexico, and they watched me play. I ended up hitting like a triple, and I hit a long foul ball home run. So I mean, it didn't count, but it looked good. So I mean, that helped the
We
case.
got something here. We got something here.
So I helped my case, and then he watched me play third, and I mean, I can throw the ball a little bit. I can throw it across the infield. He liked what he saw. He ended up calling me that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I ended up getting the official offer from them 2-3 weeks after summer ball had completely ended, and they told me everything I was getting, money and stuff. And at that point I was like, that's a no-brainer. I mean, come on, you got a small junior college, or you got Mizzou, like they're in the SEC. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take this. So I took that, and that's where I was at with that. And then senior year, the recruiting coordinator that recruited me to go there got fired. So I was really contemplating if I still should go, but I ended up saying that it wasn't the best interest for me, because I don't think I would have played.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff I can still work on. Right. And that's where JUCO ball comes into the picture. So I didn't have a summer team to play with this summer. And I ended up playing with the Texas Pirates, Schifano's last name. We played for fun. And a lot of the kids on the team were JUCO kids, JUCO bandits is what you can call it.
And where did you end up? And then we're going to talk a little bit about the JUCO before we get out of it. Where are you currently at? Where are you sitting at right now?
I'm at Howard College in Big Spring, Texas. Hawks fly, go Hawks, man. I love it out here.
So in baseball, JUCO is a really good route. You know what I mean? Because it's a connector. You can do a couple of things from that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than the basketball arena. Well, it's kind of the same with basketball, but baseball, there's a lot of different ways you can go. There's people that go into the draft. There's people that go into Division I schools. So you're setting yourself up for success for whatever opens up for you. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. The long run, basically.
What else? Real quick, how's it going with the COVID situation, man? This has been a very interesting time for a young athlete, man. How you guys been coping with it?
So we honestly, in my opinion, it works out for a lot of the freshmen and upperclassmen, because basically this last year and this year, they don't count on eligibility for your playing on the field. Like, so you could be a sophomore or a junior in the classroom, but be a freshman or a sophomore on the field. So that just gives you more years to play. So I honestly say it's better.
Yeah, it can help you for somebody who's already in there. What would you say your biggest moment in your sports career has been? Give us one thing that pops out to your mind.
Moment? Like, what do you mean moment?
Like, you know what I'm saying, you hit a grand slam, you won this thing, you signed with this school. What do you think?
I don't really have a moment. I have a lot of moments. I just think if I could put it into like a small ball, would be my junior summer with the guys I played with. That was the best. That whole 3 months was the best moments of my life. I still currently think about them.
So this is where, sports creates opportunities, but it also creates memories of a lifetime, and it also creates relationships that last a lifetime as well. We'll get real quick. What would you give some advice to the youngins coming up?
The game is definitely gonna humble you, but just don't get down on yourself too hard, because I used to do that all the time, and it doesn't help. Just let it go. If you make some mistake or something, let it go. Keep moving forward. That's all I can really say about that. It's just gonna humble you.
Hunter, man, we appreciate you here at FitLab, man. You're always family, man. We love you, man. Celebrate
Yes,
you,
sir.
making us proud, man. You keep it going. For all of the ladies and gentlemen that's watching, make sure y'all subscribe to Tap In with Tristan podcast, and make sure we share this content. Click the bell so you get notifications of the new content. Comment, like, and let's make this platform really big so that way we can share this thing. All right, Hunter, man, we'll be in contact, man. Love you, boss, man.
All right, you too.
All right, later.
Later.